When done properly, the internet, screens, and particularly social media can provide 5 essential elements of adolescent well-being: a sense of control over one's environment, individuation, self-expression, a connection to others, and acceptance. And then there is the abyss. Welcome to App-Propriate, a podcast designed to give you a little taste into the positives and negatives of the most popular social media apps, so that you and your most importants can make more informed, healthy, and safer choices when it comes to interacting through your screens. I'm your host, Joe Langford. Note that I said safer, not safe. Interacting through screens with other humans contains a degree of natural risk, just like real life. And I believe that education leads to empowerment, and I hope this information helps add a degree of safety, social responsibility, and good digital citizenship to your social networking and the conversations you have about it with your family. Today's episode is about Lipsi. Lipsi falls into the texting or messenger app and the self-destructing or secret-based app categories. Similar to Sarha or Afterschool, Lipsi is another anonymous app that lets users accept anonymous feedback from others. More accurately, it allows users to tell others what they think of them without revealing their own identities. Once signed in, the app allows Lipsi users to search for other Lipsi users within a 100-yard radius and start an anonymous conversation with them. What sets Lipsi apart is that users can get a Lipsi link to post in their Instagram profiles, so the comments appear in their Instagram feeds as well. So all of your Instagram followers can read the comments written by other people that you don't necessarily know and couldn't identify if you wanted to. The real-world equivalent of this would be something like logging into your Instagram, passing your phone under a bathroom stall to the person next door, and asking them to tell your friends and followers what they think of you. Instagram is a platform in which creative people and artists, particularly photographers and poets, can get legit feedback and notes about their posted content. But beyond the concerns I'll share in a few minutes, I become very wary if either an artist or a critic find anonymous criticism to be necessary. It is possible to identify yourself on Lipsi, though many users hide their comments and identity in what they call ghost mode. And like the app Whisper, many of the comments are positive, but anonymous feedback platforms are a known recipe for bullying and a magnet for trolls. Because what if anyone within a 100-yard radius could send you anonymous messages? What could go wrong, right? Ask Yik Yak, the creepy uncle of anonymous apps, which had similar bones, a quick rise to popularity, leaving a rocket trail of complaint and concerns around cyberbullying until it was eventually shut down in 2017. The Sarha app I mentioned earlier was happy to take Yik Yak's place, including inheriting its share of harassment incidents, and is still around, though has been removed from the app stores. And now the relatively new Lipsi app lets users anonymously start conversations with other app users nearby. And it's gaining popularity among young people, despite its, I think, appropriate 17-plus age requirement in the app stores. While Lipsi requires users to be 18 like other apps, all it takes is a simple click of a box to get in. Users are then able to create their own shareable links for anonymous feedback and can then attach that link to their Instagram bio so that their followers can send anonymous feedback and compliments. Though any listeners out there who have interacted on social media can both hear the sarcastic quotation marks in my voice and understand that compliments on social media are much less popular than insults, and that feedback is often a code word for unsolicited attacks. Anonymous apps like Lipsi are generally not safe for underagers and don't help them build a positive digital footprint. Lipsi is a less complicated, modern version of those intricately folded paper notes some of us remember from middle school. The primary issue here is the anonymity. Those paper notes came from somewhere, from someone, passed from friend to friend, leaving a literal paper trail. On Lipsi, as with most other anonymous apps, it is very easy for the anonymous lack of accountability to bring out the worst in human nature. The app promotes itself as a community that aims to employ anonymity as a tool to empower, support, and encourage our peers. And I believe that there are times and places for anonymity, but those often do not include the under 18 set, who likely lack the life and online experience to anticipate and navigate high levels of online hate. There are some positives about anonymous apps, such as legitimate feedback, artistic notes, and emotional support, but unfortunately there's a high standard of boundary and structure that are necessary to pull this off successfully. These structures and boundaries are often missing when younger and less mature users are involved. Young people are still learning resiliency and developing their own internal identities, and are at higher risk for internalizing harmful messages and falling victim to harassment than adults are. Because anonymous apps don't help you make friends. Anonymous apps create an arena for behavior without worrying about consequences, and in humans, this leads to bullying, depression, and anxiety. Lipsi specifically makes it clear that hate speech and other forms of abuse, if reported, are not tolerated, and the app provides numerous reminders about harassment and abusive comments. Upon signing up, Lipsi says it can gather your email, gender identity, date of birth, sexual preference, nationality, photographs, location, and social media accounts that you want to link to. And it warns that it will reveal your identity in case of abuse, threats, or racist comments. Lipsi also has a feature that they call Community Review, where users can go through the actual messages sent to people and decide whether or not they should be delivered. And there are systems for users to report inappropriate comments. In spite of the existence of these measures, there's still room for hateful or inappropriate conversations and one-sided attacks to take place, as they often do in anonymous online spaces. Apps like Lipsi are designed for young people and are a good opportunity to talk about being the bully. Some people feel they can hide behind being anonymous and behave in a negative manner toward others. Like the after-school app, it's important to explain to your kids that these anonymous apps are never truly anonymous, and that the content they share through the Lipsi app can be screenshotted by others and shared across other platforms. Lipsi claims that it's a safe space for potential mental health advocacy. However, there doesn't seem to be enough structures in place to guarantee that that type of interaction will take place, and the options for creating, perpetuating, or allowing hateful comments and bullying prevent this from being considered a legitimate mental health resource. If a young person does need to talk to someone anonymously, there's great resources through the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK for confidential support. Overall, Lipsi is following in its predecessors' well-worn steps, and though possibly well-intentioned, has created a space with the potential for trolling, bullying, and other forms of hate. For Lipsi, like other anonymous platforms, it is impossible to guarantee that the potential positives are not going to be overshadowed and overpowered by the negative and harmful ones. If your kids are going to use this, it definitely calls for conversation, but it's best in general for younger kids and those new to social media to steer clear of the anonymous apps and instead focus on less toxic social media apps, which are more likely to help them create a positive digital footprint. Thank you for listening. I'm Joe Langford. I'm a therapist, a sex and tech educator, and a dad, and I specialize in helping families navigate that intersection of adolescence, sexuality, technology, and behavior. More information about me and my work to promote healthy, positive, and safer sexual and social behavior, both online and off, can be found at my website, beheroes.net.
The advice presented in this podcast is a form of education and is intended to provide general information about common though broad topics that impact underage people. Specific circumstances and facts may make said advice unsuitable and/or other actions necessary for individuals. This podcast is meant to be an adjunct, not a replacement, for IRL experience, professional advice, and good old-fashioned common sense. In addition, much of the information included here can and most likely will change with time, culture, and the rapid development of technology. BeHeroes.net does not seek nor accept any monetary gain or financial support from any social media platform mentioned. BeHeroes.net is committed to providing quality consulting, coaching, product, speaker, and contracted therapeutic services, advocacy, and resources to clients, visitors, customers, colleagues, and fans. Appropriate is produced by BeHeroes.net.